In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the UHD2 lineup from Garmin. It replaces the outgoing UHD models, which have been very popular for us, and there are two different series. There is the 55 and 75 button controlled units, and there are the 65, 75 and 95 touchscreen with keyed assist units. Firstly, we'll have a look at the keyed models, the button controlled models, which are the 55 5-inch and the 75 7-inch. Now they're both preloaded with Garmin Navionics, which is different to the older UHD units which were preloaded with Garmin G3. So just have a look what's in the box. This is the 5-inch unit. There's the main unit. There's a cutout template. The gimbal mount. Power cable. There's a little swiveling bracket that goes underneath the gimbal mount. And a 4-pin to 8-pin transducer adapter cable, and there's flush mount gaskets and documentation. So this is the 7-inch unit. You've got the keys down one side, you've got the micro SD slot with a fully waterproof rubber cover. On the back there are two ports, your power and a transducer cable. There are no interfaces on this unit or the 55 unit. It's standalone, so there's no NMEA 2000, no NMEA 183. It's purely standalone. It does have Wi-Fi for data sharing, so you can share sonar, so the Fishfinder imagery between two units. You can share waypoints and routes between two units via Wi-Fi. So you could have one unit with a transducer fitted on the stern of a vessel if you're fishing over the back, and you can have a unit in the wheelhouse and share that data between the two units. The button controlled UHD2 units have two forms of sonar built in. They have traditional CHIRP sonar, such as this, which is great for looking at fish in the water column, and they have high frequency ClearVü down scanning sonar, which looks like this, which is great for structure on the bottom. If you want to use both those forms of sonar, you need to buy a transducer such as this, which is called a GT24 UHD. It's a transom mount transducer, comes with 20 foot of cable and plugs in via the 4-pin to 8-pin adapter that's in the box. There are plenty of other transducers that this will operate with. So if you wanted an in-hole, you could use a GT15, or if you wanted a through-hole, you could use a GT21. Moving on to the 3 touchscreen with keyed assist models. There are 3 models: 6-inch 65 SV, 7-inch 75 SV, and 9-inch 95 SV. Just have a look at what's in the box. We'll open up the 7-inch. So they come with a screen cover. It's the head unit, cutout template, a Garmin sticker, this is the rear mounting bracket with gimbal mount. Now they've changed these brackets from the older units. They're more sturdy. The 7-inch and 9-inch have got a much more robust locking mechanism. I mean, there wasn't anything wrong with the old ones, but they've just improved the design. And on the back, you've got a network port. So all 3 of these units have network ports, power, transducer, and an NMEA 2000 port. there is the power cable, a transducer adapter cable to go from 12 pin to 8 pin, so if you're using an 8 pin transducer. There's a swiveling system for the gimbal mount, flush mount gaskets, and the documentation. Moving on to the hardware. The actual head units for the 7 and 9 are very similar to the outgoing 7 and 9 units, with touchscreen and keys down the side. The mounting brackets have been improved upon, whereas they now have a sturdier back plate and a nice locking lever to lock the unit in place. And that's on the 7 and 9. The 6-inch, the hardware's quite different to the old outgoing 6-inch. So the old outgoing 6-inch was button control. The new one is now touchscreen with the keyed assist. And the mounting bracket on the back doesn't have the locking lever, but it has a much sturdier mounting system than the older outgoing unit. Some of the differences between the new UHD2 and the outgoing UHD are that the new UHD2 units are all preloaded with Garmin Navionics Plus charting. The older units had Garmin G3, the new ones have Garmin Navionics Plus. Now you can have auto routing, so you have to enable that using the ActiveCaptain app, but you can put in point A and point B, and you draft the vessel and it will create a safe route between those 2 points. So that is something that's now on these units. They all have network ports, whereas the older units you only had network ports on the 7 and 9, but now the 6 has it, so you can plug in a live scope sonar. The 9-inch has a much higher resolution display than the outgoing 9-inch, which really comes into its own when you're looking at high definition sonar, especially live scope. So the 9-inch is higher res than the old one. No NMEA 183 ports on these now. They're NMEA 2000, and they've done away with the NMEA 183. All of them have ANT plus wireless communication, so you can link up to Aquatics Watch, or you can stream data from a G-Win Wireless 2 wind vane straight to the unit. Let's move on to compatible transducers. If you want to use all 3 functions, that is ClearVü, down scanning sonar, SideVü, side scanning sonar, and traditional CHIRP sonar, then you would need a GT56 UHD transducer, and they're available as a transom mount transducer, a through hole single, or if you have a deep V boat, then a through hole pair. And this transducer will give you all 3 of those functions. You can also connect to in-hull transducers such as a GT15. If you've got a wooden boat, you can use a bronze transducer. But if you want all 3 functions, you have to go for a GT56 transducer. If you have an old legacy 6-pin transducer, an old Garmin transducer, you can buy an adapter block, which you cut the plug off the old transducer and you wire it into the adapter block, and the adapter block connects up to the unit, and then you can use that transducer. So you configure it to work with pretty much any transducer. So to summarize, there are 5 new models for the Garmin Echomap UHD2. 2 button controlled units, the 55 and the 75, and 3 touchscreen units, the 65, 75 and 95. And they all have built-in Garmin Navionics Plus charting.